Okay, Brian, welcome to the archive. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good on this beautiful day at Ropes Mansion. How are you doing?
Doing well, thank you for asking.
Good.
All right, so let's get started with, you are known as BORAH around here.
Yes, BORAH Brewington Snaggletooth the 13th, and BORAH is spelled with a capital B, capital O-R-A-H, all caps, exclamation point. Some people make that mistake and don't do that, but that's okay.
All right, how'd you come up with this wild idea?
Gosh, there's a German dance with a big long name and I can't pronounce it. And I think the original title, if you translate it to American wordage, has bacon in the title. And I don't understand why. But anyway, this German dance, and it was popular in 2016, 2015. It was viral all over the place. And so I saw the witches there doing this dance, and I said, this is a great dance. So I moved to Salem in 2015, and I put on Facebook asking people if they wanted to do this dance for the Haunted Happenings Parade. And I got 18 strangers together, and I said, look, we got to come up with these characters. We got to dress these characters. We got to become these characters, know how they eat, what they smell like, where they live, how they act, how they stand, how they talk. And I said, we got to be these characters. And so based on that information and those videos and those witches and my childhood fantasies, my childhood favorite witches like Witch Hazel from the Looney Tunes, which is before you were even born, and the Wizard of Oz, Wicked Witch of the West. I took the green skin, the big nose and big chin, and I put those together with a little bit of witchy poo before your time again, and I created BORAH.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So that was like 2015, 2016.
That was exactly 2016. The witch dance came out either 2016 or 2015.
All right. Okay. And so you did that in Salem's Halloween Parade, which happens at what time every year?
The very first Thursday in every October. And I think this year it's the 6th.
Do you still participate in it?
Oh, heck yeah. There are some witches that come from out of town, and sometimes they do it. They asked me to do it, but I said I didn't have time to do it. But anyway, long story short, if I have time this year, it is September 1st. I will try to refresh my memory and try to do the dance, because you never know who's going to come up and say, let's do this witch dance, because it's a lot of fun.
All right. All right. So, when you said you also wanted to become a busker?
Yeah. So I did in 2016. I didn't know what Haunted Happenings was. I didn't know it was a big festival all month long. So what I did was, when I got these people together, they said, hey, do you know that there's a huge festival all month long and you can dress as the witch or whatever and stand on Essex Street and people will take pictures and give you money? And I said, well, no. So I did that, and that's when I decided to do BORAH and to busk, and it just kind of took off from there. And what I do is I donate a portion of the money that I make in October towards different charities. Last year I gave to an autistic organization here in Salem. But so that's what BORAH's Salem's Black Hat Society, like the Red Hat Society, does. We like to donate to different children's charities and autistic organizations.
Okay, so how many buskers would you say there are right now?
Oh my gosh.
Or at least give like a ballpark.
100, 150.
And that's all across the city?
And it's all across the city. Some people come out like maybe once a weekend. Some people come out for the week. Some people are out almost every day like I am. By the chest. Now here is Bruce. He's our local doggy. And if BORAH saw this, she would throw him right in the cauldron.
That's right. That's right. Okay, so how long has this busking program been going on?
You know what? It's been going on for a very, very long time. Haunted Happenings started in 1982, so I'm guessing it started a few years after that. But I don't think anybody really knows the exact date that it started. So how I started busking is some of the witches that did the dance with me said that you can stand on Essex Street in October and people would take pictures and leave you money. And I thought, well, that's an interesting thought, because I had no idea that Salem had this Haunted Happenings all month long. So I did it the first right after the parade I did it, and I did it every weekend after that, and it just kind of stuck with me, and it kind of took off.
All right. So, are there anybody still around or active that have been here since the 80s?
You know, there is. I don't know if there is anybody here from the 80s. There is Dennis Castleton, who plays the famous zombie. He's still here, and he's been here for many, many years, but I don't think quite as far back as the 80s. But he has a lot of knowledge about the history of busking and all that fun stuff.
Is there a lot of planning? I would assume that coordinating police and fire and that stuff is a nightmare.
So I don't stand I'm not on the planning committee, but I do hear from friends and business owners that are on the planning committee. And I was in a couple of meetings last year and this year, briefly, and they start in January planning for the for that year. So as soon as October is over, they start talking in January about the following year, or for that year. So there is a lot of coordination that goes to put the whole thing together. Yeah.
Not a small little.
It's not something they throw together in 6 months. No.
Do they still run the Amtrak all night?
On Halloween, I think that it stops at 11 o'clock, I believe.
Because I remember I went one year, and they're letting people go on the Amtrak all night for free.
Oh, really?
There's so many people.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm in bed. That's October 31st. I'm in bed by 8 o'clock because I'm dead tired. So, and I don't take the train because I live here, and I don't know. I don't talk to people in detail about the train. I don't look at the schedule because I have too much going on. So maybe if they have to, they will. Maybe they do. I don't know. But I know that everybody has to be out off the streets at 10 or either 11. One year it was 10, one year it was 11. And when they shut the city down, they shut it down. They're cleaning up the streets. They got the horses out, pushing everybody off the streets, getting them to the train station. They do the fireworks.
Like what? They got people, is that like their calling card?
Yeah.
Like the
Get off the
fireworks,
street.
and then people come out with the horses?
They do the fireworks. I think they'll start at 10, and as soon as they're over, it's over. And they're just pushing people out of Salem.
Who started as buskers, and it looks like they've got some kind of extended business from it. Is there a number of people like you that might have like an Etsy store and a social media and do like weddings or parties or something?
Most of so as I said earlier, there's at least 150 buskers, and I personally know the ones that are mainly on Essex Street, and it might be maybe about 20 buskers that I do know. They mainly have like social media outlets. I don't think any of them have stores. So no, none of them have stores. There is one witch called the Good Witch, and she dresses in pink. And she didn't start out as a busker. She started out as a school teacher, and she has a business in town, and she has little workshops for kids where they make potions and they do like beauty parlor nails and stuff like that. So she's not a busker, but she does dress as this pink, beautiful witch, and she has this great little business. It's called the Good Witch of Salem, and that is right across from the witch house, right off of Essex Street. So, but other than that, and there's no buskers that have, at this point, any businesses or any Etsy stores. I wish they would, because it would be really cool.
And so it's also involved, like you got a Boo Bash coming up.
Yeah, so
Is this the first time you're doing anything like this?
Yeah, this is the first time, and it's a lot of fun, Garrett. It's a lot of fun. My social media kind of evolved into weddings, because people were asking me if I did weddings or did wedding vow renewals, and I was like, yeah, and I had no idea what I was doing. So, the Just Witch of the Peace. Garrett's mom came up with that name, Just Witch of the Peace. That is trademark. Don't steal that, anybody. So now I am the Just Witch of the Peace. So anyway, so my busking evolved into social media, which brought people to ask me. I had a couple say, hey, do you do wedding vow renewals? And I'm like, sure. I had no idea what I was doing. So I interviewed the couple. I wrote this wedding. I didn't know anything about ceremonies, and I came up with what I think was a cute ceremony, and we did it, and it was great. And then that evolved into me doing more wedding vow renewals and huge weddings. And one wedding that I did in 2017 went viral, and it ended up, the local paper was there, and the A&P got a hold of that story, and it went viral. It was in like newspapers and TV stations in Canada, Australia, all over the U.S. It was insane. In Switzerland. So that was really cool. So to answer your question, my busking has evolved into a little side business of doing weddings and wedding vow renewals, and I came up with this crazy idea for myself. I'm also doing a party this year called BORAH's Halloween Boob Bash. It's the first time. We'll see how it goes. And we're doing it at the Waterfront Hotel and the Salem Waterfront Hotel. And there's going to be door prizes all night long. We've got costume characters. We've got, food all night long. I have a green room set aside just for some media and for the local buskers that are going to be here, and for our talent as well. It's just going to be a lot of fun. That's October 14th. Let's see, it's from 7 to 11. And that's been a lot of work to put together, but it's been fun.
You're also, so Salem's also got, it's like known as Witch Town. You've got like Lori Cabot, Lori Bruno, Hex, Omen. Any of these people?
Absolutely. Lorelei from Crowhaven, Shalimar from Omen, Lori
Cabot?
I haven't met her yet. Lori Bruno, Lori Bruno. There's so many wonderful people here, and their names just kind of like are all over my head. But Lori Bruno. So I've met these people, and they're wonderful. And actually, Shalimar and I have been doing some weddings together. I've invited her to come in and participate and kind of bless the wedding and bless these weddings, and we've had a lot of fun. And Lori Bruno and I are going to be doing a wedding together 2024. So all these Wiccans and pagans, witches, we've been really cool together. It's been a lot of fun.
Okay. And have you seen their involvement with the community, like things that they do? Like, do you think all this busking and dressing up like witches and doing all this fun, silly stuff has, maybe brought like a good light on them in this community?
Well, so I recently found out about 2 or 3 years after I started doing BORAH, and BORAH was established, if you want to say that. I don't know. After I'd done BORAH 2 or 3 years, I learned that the green-faced witch was some sort of kind of frowned upon, because in some of the pagan thoughts, were that it was offensive and sort of made fun of their religion. And I didn't know that. And I wouldn't ever do anything to make fun of another religion or another person. And so I thought about, several things, like, approaching them and just having a conversation or just backing off. So what I did was I just continued doing what I did and just let them come to me if they had any thoughts or questions. And so I think what's come out of it is a positive thing. It kind of bridges the gap between pop culture and the Wiccan pagan community, and kind of people that are skeptical of the pagan and Wiccan that maybe can relate to the pop culture witches. It kind of has connected both of those entities, I think, and I've been told by others, to kind of like educate people on both the pagan and Wiccan, and those that may not be too thrilled about the pop culture type of witches. It kind of like educates both of those parties and kind of brings them together and bridges the gap between them. So I've had really good response from the pagan and Wiccan community, and I'm very thankful for that.
The history of the craft, or magic users, or even older, ancient, tribal, earth-based worship.
Yeah.
They were all healers.
Yeah, they were. They were all. You're right. They were all healers, and that's a very good connection there. I never thought of that. Yeah. So what? I don't know if you can pick this up or not, but what?
I mean, it's recording right now.
Yeah.
So.
Did you? I don't know if you heard it or not. I don't know if you can hear it or not. But what Gary's mom said was that the pagan, the Wiccan, they are healers themselves. And what I do in my career as a respiratory therapist is, she was saying that I do heal and bring peace and help heal people, and that's sort of what BORAH does too.
Literally.
I make people happy. I've had many messages from people that want to, unfortunately, harm themselves, or people that are feeling down, or are depressed, and they've reached out to BORAH asking for help, or asking, can you send me a video to make me happy? Or my father's 90 and I don't know if he's going to be around for his next birthday. Can you send a birthday message to him? So that's really interesting that you brought that up. I never thought about that until now.
Yeah.
So whether you're a green pop culture witch or a pagan or a Wiccan, we're all here trying to bring positive light and energy to this crazy world.
And
I love that.
And you find that with more than just BORAH, like all the other, they go ahead and bring some good mojo.
Ask me that again. I'm so sorry.
I said, so do you find that with all the other buskers too, and this growing
yeah,
community and practice?
yeah, they
bring some good mojo.
Yeah, that's what the other BORAHs. That's what
All the other BORAHs.
All the other BORAHs. There is a rumor that there is more than one BORAH out there, because one person can't do it all, and I'm not going to say whether there is or not. But there is a rumor out there. I just learned. But all the other buskers, they're out there bringing happiness and making people laugh, and we're all doing the same thing, just trying to change the world. Well, Salem and visitors to Salem, trying to make it a better place for everybody. Because that's what it's about. We're here to make people happy.
Yeah.
Not to harm or hurt anybody.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
We should. That's our job, as humans, is to bring peace and happiness.
Yeah, to like help improve Salem or help bring something good to this community here.
I know that it's brought a lot of laughter to Salem. I know that I've married a whole bunch of people, and hopefully they are happy in their marriages. Hadn't had any divorces yet, though I do divorce parties, or I would. But yeah, I mean, like, I do think that this has brought a lot of happiness to Salem. I mean, we get messages all the time saying that, I can't wait to see you guys out there on the street. You know, you make our October. So yeah, it has brought and does bring a lot of happiness and changes Salem for the better, I think. Actually, I think the one that was at the House of Seven Gables in 2017, the one at the House of Seven Gables, was a lot of fun, because we had a vampire that interrupted the wedding. We had a Michael Myers was there, Jason was there, the Addams family was there, the whole family. They were special guests. That was a surprise for the couple. They loved the Addams family, so I brought them on board, and they were sitting right in the front row with her big chair. That was really cool. This was a Jewish wedding and a pagan wedding, so I had a pagan minister come and do the pagan portion, and the Jewish wedding was a lot of fun, and the Jewish portion was a lot of fun too. I don't want to give out any surprises in case I do another one, but Uncle Fester was involved with his light bulb. That's as much as I'm going to say about that. And that wedding is the one that was viral all over, literally all over the world, literally. So that was a lot of fun. Let's see, we had the Baroness. She was the bartender dressed as her witch, and we had it catered. It was a blast. And Ty Hapworth, who shoots a lot of my weddings, shot that one, and the Salem News was there. Other local press magazines or news outlets were there, so it was a lot of fun. I have had somebody bring in, and I encourage it. They brought the ashes of their dog, because their dog was supposed to be in the wedding, and the dog transitioned, and they cremated their dog, and so they said, asked if they could bring their dog the ashes. I said sure. So I had a special table for their little doggy. So there's a lot of emotional involvement with these weddings also. I've had weddings where their father, the bride's father, was supposed to come, and he passed away, and so at the last minute I write that in the ceremony. We have a special moment for loved ones that have gone on, like him. So all of the weddings are actually different, and but the most crazy one was the one at the House of Seven Gables back in 2017.
Here, yeah, 2 last questions. You jumped here from Georgia to Salem.
Yes.
What made you want to do that?
So I was born in South Carolina, and I went to school in Cincinnati, College Conservatory of Music, and then I moved to Florida, then I moved to Georgia. But this whole time I knew as a kid that I wanted to move to Salem because in high school I did the Crucible. And so I did research at the library. Libraries were around before you were born, Garrett. It's a room full of books and you read. So I went to the library and I studied up on the Salem witch trials and Salem itself. And so I jumped on the train and saved up my money. My parents let me come to Salem when I was in 10th grade, I believe it was. I jumped on the train, and as soon as I stepped off the train onto the ground, you're right, I knew I was home. So at that point, I knew that one day I wanted to move to Salem. So when I met my husband, Greg, I said, okay, a stipulation is we're moving to Salem. You coming with or without me? So we're here.
All right. Was he on board with it?
No.
He was not.
He was not on board. He said he's from up north, and he was like, the snow, the cold. And I said, yes, we have sweaters and jackets, and we have a fireplace. We're going up north. So he loves it now. Who?
Okay.
Who?
Boris.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God. How did you know? How did you know? I'm freaked out right now.
Your voice.
Jesus Christ.
How do you know about BORAH?
Oh, BORAH, I'm sorry.
You don't mind being on a documentary, do you?
Sure.
Go ahead. Are you scared?
Yeah. Okay, so how did you find out about BORAH?
Through Instagram.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, what was your first impression with BORAH?
I thought it was awesome.
What'd you see? What was the video?
I can't remember. I just started following.
Just kind of creeping around Salem.
I was just kind of
Taking the
looking into
background.
everything about Salem, and I just saw BORAH on there and thought it was interesting, so I started following along and love all the videos. So
I appreciate it. I mean, how did you know that it was me, BORAH? That's just crazy.
I don't know. I could kind of tell maybe a little bit of the face
You
without
said have
makeup.
a big nose and a big chin and an ugly face?
Well, I wasn't saying all that. There you go. That's what gave it away.
Guys, so what are you doing in Salem?
Uh,
Celebrating anything or?
No, it's always been on the bucket list for us, so we decided to jump on it while we had the chance to. So, just the history and architecture, pretty much just everything.
Okay. Did you guys initially learn about Salem just from the history?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you know, did you learn anything later on about the witches that go on and how pagan friendly it is here?
A little bit here and there, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So BORAH should give you the must-haves on the tour.
Yeah.
Yes.
And might I say, dig in the half moons on the collar, babe.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
It's not going to be
Are you
missed.
are you a witch or practicing pagan?
I would say so.
There you go.
Yeah.
Cool.
Still trying to figure out, my path and everything.
Has that benefit? How does that benefit you? Starting to study some of this.
Yeah, I think it's a whole new, just, like I said, a path. There's so many things you can learn and so many communities and just open-minded people and connections you can meet that are more accepting and open than other paths that we've experienced before. So,
I'd say with deeper connections also.
Deeper connections and just helps broaden your mind and your knowledge and just acceptance about things that other people might not be too keen to exploring.
All right, and would you say that paganism is also these kinds of series of practices too? That is one of those things where it only goes as far or as deep as you feel like going?
I feel like that, yes.
Yeah.
You can go as far as you want and you can work with whatever you want to do. And if you want to go further, if you're comfortable with it, you can. But again, I feel like there's no judgment there for where you stop with where you're comfortable.
Start off by saying this is not an advertisement. I don't pick one over another.
Right.
I love it all. Seriously, and I'm not being politically correct. Whatever you can do, do. But what I normally do is I'll get up in the morning and go have breakfast at Red's, jump on the trolley tour. I mean, I know the city by hand, but I just love doing the trolley tour. I would do the trolley tour because it gives you a comprehensive... Huh?
That's fun. That
Yeah.
sounds fun.
Have you done it?
Well, we have trolleys in New Orleans.
Okay, so you
it's
got
always fun.
You got to jump on the Salem trolley.
Okay.
You can get your tickets diagonally across from Reds. Reds is 15 Central Street, but it gives you a good comprehensive of past and current history, witches, and the maritime history as well.
That's
Oh,
cool.
I would do, if you like horror movies, which you seem like you like, I would do Count Orlok. And let's see, any messages for you guys out there? Be yourself.